Well, welcome for those of you that are here with us. Thank you so much for coming to our portion of this wonderful conference. We've heard some great things from everybody. So my name is Lupe Coons, and I have the honor of working with Sally and Simone on our portion of the conference. So let's just go ahead and kick it off and get it started. So you guys all are familiar with this lovely little map, right? So this is the little map. We're at the almost at the very end here. You can see we're at the celebration part. So we're super excited to have you guys here. And so now we're just going to talk about the fun stuff of celebration, a little bit about history, about what we've done in terms of celebration when we've done projects. So, you know, we're going to discuss the ins and outs and all the fun stuff. So one of the biggest things is, why is it so important to include a celebration at the completion of your project? Well, here to explain this a little bit better is our very own Sally. Sally, take it away.
Thank you, Lupe. So I'm Sally Morton from the San Diego County Office of Education PeopleSoft Support Team. And as Lupe has explained, I'll be sharing some tips on celebrating good times with your project team. Woohoo! I'll be using the Correct History project celebration that we had virtually using Teams. I use we because we were lucky enough to have our project sponsor and I both wanting to be involved in the virtual celebration. So our sponsor attended the whole session, and I know that the project team really appreciated our sponsor taking the time to attend and all the celebration festivities. So for the first tip, the celebration is all about recognizing the accomplishments and contributions of the entire project team. What you want to make sure is that you recognize everyone. It's really important to make sure that you go through the list and ensure that you haven't forgotten anyone. It'd be a great idea if you could have a second set of eyes to double check that everyone has been included. The list of names should be right up front and done at the beginning of your celebration so that you can congratulate them right out the gate. Woohoo, you've done a great job. Look at this, we've done it. And this up front right at the beginning of the celebration is really important so everyone on the project team can see that they're being recognized for what they did. And we also wanted to recognize the different organizations that supported the Correct History project. And we had our district partners that played a role on our team. We also had our San Diego County Office of Education department partners, and as well as we had this SDCOE PeopleSoft team. And the team would include our trainers and our testers and our developers and things like that. So again, very important to get all excited and make sure you tell these people thank you so much right out the gate, right when you start your celebration. Then coming up with a theme can make it more fun and interesting. We chose History of America, and we chose this for two reasons. One is because it aligns with the name Correct History. And then because this was virtual, it also provided something for the project team to get involved with by reading the tidbits of American history that we included on each of the slides. It's really a good way to get them more engaged during a virtual celebration, because sometimes virtual requires some fun to be added to the presentations. And these are just a few examples where we had the Grand Canyon and the making of the Star Spangled Banner and Ellis Island. And it was just put onto the different charts as we went through what we were covering during our meeting. And it was really a lot of fun to watch the chat comments as the various tidbits were seen on the slides. I could see also that they were having fun reading about the American history tidbits that we decided to include. So yeah, it was really, having a theme is really a good idea, and it did add a lot of fun and difference to the celebration. So for the next tip, I also wanted to include one of the uh, history tidbits about the Fountain of Youth. And this was connected with our third tip, which is that you should recap all of the project deliverables. This is to help recognize everything that the team has done during the project. And during when we went through this list, I could see that the heads were going up and down, and they were recognizing, wow, man, look at all this stuff that we did. I guess because during a project that might be kind of long, they kind of forget what they did at the beginning. So I could see that they were really proud looks and really amazed at everything that they had accomplished as a part of this project. So then, who doesn't want to get an award of recognition? So what we did here was we aligned the theme with history, and we called our award ceremony the Mayflower. And the awards were given. We also made the awards around the organizations or departments, such as we discussed in the first slide, which was the district partners, the SDCOE department partners, or our PeopleSoft developers, trainers, and testers. And before we went on to start awarding our awards, we encouraged the rest of the project team to give kudos to the other team members in the chat, or to raise their hands to do a shout out. Because I think that everybody really appreciates when a team member has given kudos. It's not just, I don't think it's just about your management and your project manager. I could see that the team really appreciated when other team members were involved in giving them kudos. So now I wanted to give an example of the awards that we provided, and what we did was we gave the name of the award first so that we can do a lead up, right, and make it really exciting for the people that were getting the award. So in this situation, we would have gone, and the Statue of Liberty Award is going to be given to our pilot partner district resources. And what we did was we had some props, we made some noise, woohoo, and then we would go ahead and read the names and the organizations that each of the team members were from. You know, in this case, it's Josh Markley, Escondido High, Michelle King and Randy Montesanto from Grossmont, Tina Peterson and Don Campbell from San Diego. And we also made sure that we covered what they had worked on the project. And in this case, it was the pre-training workshops, the UAT testing, training, a 3-month pilot, and then providing district perspective and expertise to the rest of the team. So we gave an award for every group that had played a role in making this project a big success. And we made lots of noise. And we had our pom-poms, and we used the reactions up here. Woohoo! And everybody's happy. And go ahead and join in with the fun with reactions. And I have to tell you, it was really this was what I liked the best. And I really liked watching people as they got their kudos and their shout outs from the other team members. I could see the proud smiles and the proud face for everything that they had done on these teams. As a part of this Correct History project, it was really a lot of fun to watch as we went through each award. Then, as our final tip of the day, it's really a good idea to come up with some sort of a game, which is just another way to get a virtual celebration, team members engaged in the celebration. We kept it simple, and we played a matching game with a statement. And the statements were about the project. So a lot of this was covered during our celebration in our presentation. So what we did was we asked the project team to provide their answers in the chat. And so we put some animation on this slide as well, and it's just really a simple thing. And so the statement would come up, number of people who worked on the project, and we would give the team a chance to give the answers in the chat. And then we go, and the answer is 30. We had 30 people that worked on this project. And then the next one is number of teams who worked on the project. And we waited for them to put the answers in the chat. And the answer is there were 9 teams, different teams that worked on this project. And then it was the number of audit queries that were delivered. Does anyone have a guess? Does someone want to put an answer in the chat? Well, and the answer is we had 20 that were developed as a part of this project. Just going through these statements like this gave them another way of knowing how much they did for this project, as well as who was involved. So the next question was number of district correct history changes so far that our districts that had been a part of this project have done. And the answer is 33. We have 33 that we've captured. And then the last one was number of prior stalled attempts to implement the correct history project. Yep, we did have some stalled attempts, but on the 3rd try, it was a charm. Can you believe that everybody got this one right? The answer is 20. Woohoo! Anyways, so having a game can add fun and engage the team a little bit more. So just to give a quick summary of the tips for celebrating with your project team, it's really important to recognize everyone. It's also fun with a theme, and especially if it gives them something else to do during a virtual celebration. It's also really important to review the deliverables, because that, after all, that's everything that they did on the team, and this is what we are here to celebrate, everything that they accomplished. Then creating awards. Everybody wants to get an award and be recognized. And then last, to play a quick game. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be very simple. And this adds a lot of fun and also engages the team. So next up, we're going to be going back to Lupe.
Thank you, Sally, so much. That was awesome. Thanks for sharing your experience. That sounds like it went really well, actually.
It did.
Oh, yay, awesome. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of getting to know your audience and developing positive relationships. So one of the things that may not, come up right away as something important to think about is, you want to start developing your relationships with the people that you're going to be working with. Because it could be people that you don't ever work with or don't, talk to very much. So you really don't know them. And so you could be thrown into, a situation where you just really don't know the people that you're working with. And so for me, in my experience, when you start developing a positive relationships from the very beginning, it really helps things be a lot smoother, and people are more willing to talk to you and explain, their feelings or what their side of things is, their opinions, than if they don't know you and you're just, you seem more closed off. So as the slide shows, you want to create an open line of communication, like I said, from the very beginning. You want to convey an understanding and respect towards all types of personalities and comfort levels, right? Because all of us are different. You want to ask questions and share your own comfort level. That's really important, so that people feel like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that feels that way, We want to be mindful of those who prefer to be behind the scenes and capitalize on those that enjoy the spotlight. That's always great. And we always want to, again, utilize people's strengths, because when you utilize people's strengths, everything just seems to fall into place a lot easier. So again, we want to set the tone of inclusion and teamwork. That's really, really important. And so now we're going to give you guys some ideas for celebrating in person. As we all know, it was a little crazy when COVID hit and we all had to go virtual instantly. So I'm going to talk about the fun stuff that you can do when you're celebrating in person, which always seems to be a lot easier and a lot, you get to see the people right there in front of you. So get together. That's always really important. People I've noticed in my projects that I've done in the past, people like to get together to really celebrate together as a team, because when we're working on a project, it's just craziness, right? We're just talking work, 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 work. So in the celebration piece, we are talking about work and the success of our project and everything else. But as Sally mentioned, you want to make sure you're celebrating the people because they helped you make the project successful. And there's always going to be bumps along the way, but if you finish a project, that's a celebration. That's a good thing. So some of the things we have come up with for what to do when you get together is, of course, have some snacks. Who doesn't like snacks, right? We could do a team lunch. You can do a team outing. Those are always really fun. A team game, as Sally mentioned. I just actually spoke to a friend of mine who works in a different field, and her boss is taking all of them on a camping trip because they did so well in a project that they were working on. And they're all happen to be outdoorsy people. So they shut their offices down today and they're going to camp through, I think they're going to Lake Skinner, if anybody's familiar with that. But how fun is that? A completely something different that you don't get to see these people in that kind of light. You just see each other in the office. So that's really cool. Again, recognition, that's really, really important. You want to send a special message recognizing the team to their upper management. That's really huge because a lot of times, the message doesn't get all the way through to their management. And, when their management knows what a good job they're doing, they can recognize them as well. And that's really important. You also want to give a huge, group recognition shout out, because when you're doing a project like this, there's no way one person is making everything successful. It's everybody putting in the time and the effort to make it a good project. And so some awards is, as Sally mentioned, create some electronic awards and certificates that can be printed. You'd be surprised how much that goes a long way. Like I've gone into offices where I've seen just, regular paper certificates, and it's just fun to put them up. You could always look back and go, oh, that's right. Remember that crazy project we did, So it's just really very simple. This is my favorite because I actually had this happen to me one time. So we were at my office where I'm at, even though I'm a district department, our district office isn't big enough to hold my IT department. So my entire team is there's probably about 30 of us, but give or take. And so we don't fit with the district office of the other departments. So we're kind of off-site, but our off-site building has very limited parking. So we're all, always racing to get here earlier than others so that we can grab a parking spot. So my boss was brilliant and thought of a recognition piece to give us as an award, and that is a special parking spot. They actually put up a sign that says Employee of the Month, and there's actually one that's for Employee of the Year. They get to park there every single day of the year, rain, shine, no matter what. So that's a really cool thing. So if you have some really cool, unique things that you could do like that with your group, it's awesome. And then what do they like? So how would you know what they like if you haven't spoken to them, right? So this is where that open line of communication comes in, and where you get to know your team and what they like or what they don't like. So when you do give them a little gift, it's something that they're really going to appreciate because they're going to like it and they'll use it. So gift cards or gift certificates, to restaurants, the movie theater, you name it. Those are all really, really fun ideas. So now I'm going to turn the time over to Miss Simone so she could share her part of the presentation.
All right, thank you, Lupe. Hello, everybody. My name is Simone Russell, and I am the Media Technician Project Manager for our Media and Creative Services Department. And if you are new to Celebration, you are not alone. I have never held a celebration before. I've managed hundreds of projects, but I've never held a celebration until recently. My first one was earlier this year in about January, and that project was the new SDCOE website. All the other projects that I managed, when the project was over, that was it. We all moved on. We went on to the next thing. But after taking the project management training provided by the Enterprise Project Management Office, they talked about how important it is to have a celebration when you are in the closure stage of a project, no matter how small, and how a project closing could be very beneficial to the team, and it makes them feel better about themselves, and they will want to join the next project. Even though I took the EPMO project management training after I started the website project, mind you, I went back to my project sponsor and asked them about having a celebration, and they thought it was a great idea. So we decided that we should just go out to a restaurant to celebrate our accomplishments. Now, as we were nearing the end of our project launch, we had to quickly rethink our plan to celebrate in person, because at the last minute, there was another uptick in COVID cases, and the project sponsor decided we would have to celebrate online. So we gave shout outs and thanked everyone for their time, expertise, and congratulated everyone for going live without any issues. So make sure to prepare for uncertainty, no matter what. Make sure you prepare for uncertainty. I can't express that enough. However, even though we had to do ours online, we included our consultant and her team in our celebration, and we made sure to let them know how much we appreciated all the work they had done. Their patience, because we had to, push things back sometimes or make some changes, and just thank them for their support for helping us to get our website up and running when we were ready to do that. So some of the tips I have for you is plan. Plan your project celebration from the start. That way the time and the budget can be established early on. And it also gives everyone something to look forward to after the project completion. Next, you want to choose the right celebration. When you have remote or geographically scattered teams and consultants, a remote celebration over Zoom or Teams can be just as effective when done right. As we saw Sally's celebration, that was really great. The awards, recognizing everyone, it's a great way to do that. You could also allow for asynchronous recognition, particularly for consultants. If they can't celebrate with you, maybe send a small gift or a voucher or a thank you note. It will always be well received. And if they can make it, if you include them in the celebration over Zoom or Teams, it is appreciated and it lets them know they are not forgotten. Another tip is to widen your celebration. This doesn't mean invite everybody at the office or everybody in your district. but communicate that success of the project with a blog post or a video. What we did, we included an article in our staff communications Inspire, where we shared with everyone what was accomplished, who was involved, and encouraged everyone to check out the new SDCOE website. And be sure to make the celebration timely. You may need to hold the project celebration before every closing activity. You don't need to wait for archiving or closure before you celebrate, but use your best judgment. And lastly, keep it light. It doesn't need to be business focused. Let people relax and not think about work and just bask in the glory of a project well completed. It doesn't happen often enough. People invest a lot of their time in a project while maintaining their other duties. So having a celebration will make sure everyone feels valued. Just remember, stopping to celebrate a current project completion provides motivation to look forward to that next project. Thank you, and I'll hand it back over to Lupe.
Great job, Simone. Those are some great tips and some great information. Awesome. Good job. Round of applause. Yay. All righty. So now we're going to talk about best practices. So what are some best practices that we have? First, we're going to talk about celebrate after the final presentation to your steering committee. Then you want to invite everyone who worked on the project. Like Simone had said, make sure you're including everybody. And then keep it short, make it fun, and focus on the knowledge of what information and all the team's efforts were that, made it possible. A quick game or short activity can go a long way in engaging everyone. As they both have said, they have experience in this, and I can tell you from my own experience, same thing. It just captures a different view when you engage them in a short activity. And not everyone remembers all the details of the project, so don't forget to include the project recap. Why did we do this project? And what the outcome was. That's really important. Leverage the pieces from your final report and your presentation. You could always go back and refer to that. Ask your project sponsor to share a few words. That's always really big because they're the main reason that we're doing this project, right? So that's covering that. So now we'd like to get a little input from you guys. What tip from today would you consider using for future project celebration? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Just go ahead and type it in the chat. Anything sounded fun to you guys that maybe? Yeah, definitely games. Food, definitely food, right? All of them, right? Awesome. It really is. All of them are worthwhile. Yep, it is. And like I said, we've done large scope, small scope. It's always recognition is always appreciated and accepted very well, as Simone stated. Awards, definitely. And actually hold the celebration, Rick. Absolutely. Yep. Make sure you actually have a calendar event set aside for that. Oh, good. Laura said she's looking forward to implementing this. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you guys. That's really, really cool. I hope you guys do. And I think Simone and Sally both mentioned that when you recognize people and you make it a really fun celebration at the end of a project, it's going to motivate people to want to participate again in another project or tell their coworkers like, hey, this is really cool. It's not just all about work. There's also some fun stuff included, and it just feels good to be recognized. And so awesome. All right, so now we're going to have our own little game for you guys. So we're going to do a word scramble, and let's see how smart and awake you guys are, because I've got some sleepy people out there right after lunch. Okay, in the chat, you guys Unscramble this word. Oh, Laura, dang it. You are on it, girl. Okay, we got to give you a clap. Woohoo! Laura already got it. See, celebration. Good job. Excellent. Okay, be ready. Here comes the next one. Okay, who's got this one? Let's see who's awake. Someone drink some coffee.
Simone and I, we're not allowed to do this.
God,
Oh,
good job. Woo woo.
Good,
All
right.
Barbara.
Yeah, look at you guys. There you go. All right.
God, great.
yay.
Someone's drinking coffee. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. Next one. We only have 5. Don't worry. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. Okay. Let's see who's really awake.
Aha.
Uh-huh. This is probably more like the level of espresso right here.
Right.
Yep.
Anyone?
Oh,
Let's
who's
see.
gonna get it? Here we go.
Oh,
All right.
Yes. Good job, guys.
Yay.
There
Woohoo.
you go. Woohoo. Good job. All right. Coming
There
down.
you go. Ding, 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 ding.
Okay. Let's see. What's this one?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes. Got it quick. Woohoo.
All right.
Applause. All right. Now your last one. Got to be awake for this one. Let's see who's going to get this one. Oh, what is that?
Wow. That's a
Mm-hmm.
long one.
Mm-hmm.
Who can get it first?
Is it really just one word?
I know.
Woohoo.
All right, Scott.
Oh, look at that.
Applause for Scott.
Yay, Scott.
He drank his espresso. Awesome. Great job. Thank you guys for playing along. It's always fun to just to have a little simple activity. Okay, so now we're getting to the portion of questions and answers. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you guys have any questions or comments for one of us, all of us? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Scott says he watches a lot of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. I love it.
Well, and yeah, and watch lots of Jeopardy, but the other thing is you can't believe what you can find in a Google search or
Right?
any search.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing what you can find. They actually have ways to do a virtual celebration and exactly what you need to do. You'll just find so much out there that's helpful to do a celebration. And I know that I'm not that creative, and that really helped me. So.
Thank you, Sally. That's a really good point. We never even mentioned that, huh?
Yeah.
How we came up with our ideas. But yeah, there is a plethora of ideas out there. And so there's some really cool stuff. And then you could just take bits and pieces of things and then make up your own thing, right? Make up your own fun activity.
Yep. Perry has her hand up. Can we take
Oh,
that question from Perry?
yes, I guess we'll take her question.
Okay, thanks. I love all of your ideas and I love what you shared. I'm thinking about you did a little word scramble game in this, and we saw Sally's Connect the Lines game. This is for the presenters or anyone in the session. Does anyone else have any other cool, easy to implement ideas that are simple and effective, short and sweet, nothing complicated, that we can add to the bank of ideas? Game-wise, yeah, like for like a little group quick game. Like what else could there be that we could leverage? So I'm thinking maybe we can create a list somewhere and get that out to people.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so yeah, so could you explain a little bit more about
just thinking
Kahoot?
that.
Laura, are you willing to share a little bit more about how you've used Kahoot or what that could look
Oh,
like?
I'm sorry. Yeah, sure. It could be, I'm always thinking with the teacher hat on too, the informal assessment, like to see if, what you remember. So you know how Sally did a game where she had that slide up. Instead of doing it that way, you could do a Kahoot and you could see who does it in the quickest time.
And with that one, would you deploy a link and they just do it from their computer, or how would
They
you
could
do
do it
that?
from their phone. You
Mhm.
know, there could be a QR code on the screen. It could be a link. However you want to do it, you put it in the chat. Yeah, it's cool because it has like little background music. You can put a theme if you want. The paid version you can do more things with, but there are free versions too. So
Okay, great.
Mhm.
And then Barb, what were you thinking for Name That Tune? How would that fit in for a celebration?
Depending on what your theme is, kind of like what we've had today and yesterday, all of our song and music seems to be around candy. So you could find songs like that and, play a couple of seconds of it and see who can name the tune the fastest.
That's a great idea.
I'll make it side note on Kahoot. If you do the teacher version, it's free. It has a limit, I want to say, of 40 people. But yeah, look for the free version because I've used it. I used it for holidays and stuff too.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah, and that worked really well because the questions were around the holiday, right?
Yep.
And it's really always fun to have an award for the person who gets the most right too.
Oh yeah, because it
Mhm.
scores it. It'll tell you who had the highest score.
And I love.
And it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Rames for his bingo idea.
Yes, that's
Could
what I
you
was
could
gonna
you
say,
could you
too.
do that virtually, or do you think that's more of an in-person thing?
You could get away with doing it virtually. I mean, you might have to prep something ahead of time or send people the sheet or a link to a sheet or something that's doable. I believe there are some online tools that can facilitate that as well.
That sounds like fun. That would be interesting to pursue. And then
And you know
trivia.
And you know what, Perry? I'm thinking
Yeah.
you could also do it as a theme, whatever, make it whatever your, not just your typical bingo, but actually have like really funny bingo cards based on the theme that you're doing.
Or the project itself, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The project, yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Good
Scott
ideas.
Hatch too. Mr. Hatch says trivia on the shared sessions. Yep.
Well, coming from the Jeopardy guy, right?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Well, everybody always likes a trivia game.
Oh yeah. And it's really funny if you really get to know the people on your project. We've just done something similar where we did a trivia, but it incorporated the people that actually were part of the project. So we got to know some tidbits about the people, and then we did trivia on the people themselves. That's really fun,
Who knows you best? That sounds like a good idea. And you know what? When you're on these projects, you really do get to know each other because you're even virtually, which many of them have been virtual for the last few years. You really get to know people online because what we say is we want people to show their faces and we always try to take a little bit of time to say hello to each other at the beginning of meetings and make sure that we're appreciating each other.
Absolutely.
I guess I have another comment that I want to throw out there. There's something that I observed when we did a face-to-face celebration. We had done a major PeopleSoft upgrade project. It took us months to do, and this is when this is pre-pandemic. But when we did our celebration, everyone was very busy at the time, and really we couldn't find a good time to get everyone together. So we ended up doing a celebration cart, and we took this cart. Sally, remember this?
I do remember that. Perry, it was so much fun.
So we took one of our, janky carts that we had with a wobbly wheel. We found it, but we decorated it with like streamers and we put like all this stuff on it. We labeled it celebration cart and we loaded it up with all these goodies. And then all of our people worked in different areas and we wheeled it around campus, all these different buildings, and came through at their desk and just dropped off or actually let them pick from the cart. And we had all these different options, some healthy, some not. Everyone was so excited. They were so pleased that we swung by their desk. So I guess I want to throw that out there too, is that could be a way to do it if you just, needed another alternative. But the other thing to add on is we had some leftover food and leftover goodies. And one thing that we did was we were passing by other people in IT who didn't work on the project and we invited them in on the celebration. So in that example, we made it for everyone, not just the people who had played. And what that really did was help with the breaking down of the silos and helping other people see what everyone else was doing and knowing that something big had happened and that we acknowledged it. Because PeopleSoft isn't the most exciting topic. Not everyone, even in IT, gets what it is. We've got, our PeopleSoft teams get it, but everyone else is kind of like, yeah, it's that system. So letting them in on it, I think, helped build a little bit of cohesion. So just tossing that idea out there too, because it was really well appreciated. It was out of pocket for me and Sally when we did it, but I think there was a huge payoff for it.
Oh my gosh, it was so fun for us to go visit each of the people and recognize them one-on-one and let them choose what they wanted. It was really a lot of fun. That was a great idea in a time when we were so busy that no one felt they could take the time to attend an actual celebration. So
yeah, and then we ended up replicating that, did a mini celebration cart for another project. That one just, coffee and donuts, but still people very appreciative, and we just swung by their desk. So it's a good one.
Yeah, and the bottom line, even the simplest things when you're recognizing people is appreciated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like Lupe mentioned, you get to know your team. Not everybody likes to be out in the front. So taking that card around, that kind of, even though they were still behind the scenes, they were still able to participate and celebrate, in a nice way. That was great.
Yeah, how fun.
I'm glad you remembered that, Perry.
I remember it. Yeah, that was a great time.
It was.
How fun. We had one, I was involved in one where the project manager loved taking pictures of whether it was during a meeting or when we were running around just doing our jobs. And then she created a video, and while we were celebrating all of us together, she ran the video, and it was hilarious. She put music to it. And so, I mean, you could just be as, out there and creative as you want to be, or as subtle as you want to be, but just make sure you recognize the folks that worked really hard on the project. Little goes a long way.
Yeah.
So, is there any last questions from anybody or comment that someone would like to make before we wrap up and have you go off to the next session, which is the game. You got to go to the game.
Game hour, yes.
The
Hey,
Adventures in Project Land has game.
I've got a quick comment, if I may.
Sure, Rames.
So it seems like perhaps the session was a little bit lightly attended, but the people that are here are probably more optimistic. They see the end goal, the successful project completion celebration. The other folks are still trying to figure out the project charters and status.
They're at the beginning of the game board. We blew them out of the water.
Much for this.
Thank you, Rames. Awesome.
Thank you, Ram. Yeah, that was really nice. And
yes.
we know it's hard to come to the last session about project management before they move on to the games and the wrap up. So we really appreciate that you guys attended and made it after a nice lunch.
Right?
Yes.
And if for those of you, I don't know where you're all at, I know we're all spread out everywhere, but it's really hot here in San Diego. So I went outside, and I know it just kind of saps your energy. So yes, thank you guys so much. It was great chatting with you guys. Thank you for also, giving us your opinion and your thoughts in the chat and playing along with us. We truly appreciate it, because without you guys, Sally, Simone, and I, and Joel would just be sitting here. So thank you so much.
Well done. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. We'll see you guys at the game.
Okay, see you soon.
Everybody have a good rest of the day and weekend.
Thank you.
I see a hand up. Ben has his hand up real quick.
Oh, we have a hand up.
Ben, go right ahead. Unmute yourself. No, Ben. Ben wants to get to the games.
He's ready.
Yeah.
Ben said, nah.
Everybody's shooting off. They want to win some prizes.
Thank you, guys.
Great job. Thanks for the presentation. Thank you, Joel, for helping in the background.
Yes.
Thank you, Perry.
You guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Perry.
Bye.